It's been a week. The primary fermentation's done, so I'm getting ready to dump the trub, and I'm going to show you my process. So this is my fermenter. You've seen it before. These are pretty nice, or any conical fermenter for that matter. Instead of having to rack it, you can just dump the trub out the bottom and makes the work a lot easier. I still got a little bit of suspended CO2 that's in this, but the primary fermentation is completely done, but you still get a bubble out of it every once in a while with that releasing. So what I like to start doing is I like to just spray this lower fitting with Starzan inside real good and get it sanitized. Any of my hoses and fittings, which I just got sitting in this bucket, I like to spray down and let it sit for a few minutes and make sure everything's good and clean. Even though we're just dumping the trub out, you still run the risk of something coming back up into the system. So I like to just make sure everything's good and clean before I start. Alright, I got my hoses all hooked up and I'm getting ready to open up the valve. But this is a sealed unit. So before I open this valve, I'm going to take my airlock, or my line that's going down into my solution there for the airlock, and pull it out, because when that trub starts to drop down the line, it'll draw a vacuum and suck the solution up into it, and I don't want that. So I'm going to pull it out a little bit so that kind of give it an air brake so that it doesn't do that. And it'll help the trub flow out a little bit better too. So I'm going to do this real slow so that it doesn't, the liquid doesn't channel down through it and the trub has time to fall. So this was a really light beer, so there's not going to be a whole lot in here. And all my stuff is good and sanitized. I may even save a little bit of this trub so that I can make a yeast starter later for another batch of beer. But you want to do this really, really slow. If you open this valve too much, the beer will actually just channel right down through the trub, and you won't do what you're trying to do. Oh, starting to run pretty fast right there. We've got it. So about a pint, actually that's a quart, about a quart of trub came out. So I'm going to unhook everything, re-sanitize, re-clean everything, and then I'll take a sample of that trub for a yeast starter later on. And then I'm going to add my line back into my Starzan solution so that it can continue. I have my trub just sitting on the counter. I just put a piece of tin foil over the top of it to keep it clean. I'm gonna let it sit here for a little bit, and then the heavies will kind of separate to the bottom and the lighter stuff will stay to the top. You can already see the line that's in it. And I will take just a small sample of the whiter line that's at the top. I don't want to take too much because it could impair the flavor of my next beer from the sediment and the yeast used in this. So just a very, very small sample to get the next one going, and then usually turns out pretty good. The sample will last a long time. I've got some little tubes and stuff in the refrigerator, and they'll stay good in there for weeks, giving me a chance to start another batch of beer. I'm just spraying Starzan into the fitting just to kind of rinse it out, and then I'll take a paper towel and just wipe all the excess out. I just put a little bowl down below it to catch any drips. Pretty simple. Alright, this is the temperature that I've been fermenting at for the primary. A lot of people don't like to ferment that warm. It doesn't seem to bother me. It doesn't really impair any off flavors that I can really taste. It's kind of my choice. Other people would like to probably be down closer to 60 or 65, but I kind of like it because it's a real fast fermentation and just works for me. But now that I'm going into the secondary, I'm going to cool it down. I'll probably drop it down to 50 degrees now for the next week or so and just kind of slow down the last little bit. And that'll help whatever other sediment and cloudiness in the beer, it'll help it clear up right before I get ready to keg. There. Now you can really start to see the separation in my Trub that I take, or that I got. You can see down here in the bottom is all pretty much the nasty Trub and dead yeast and stuff. I've got one little thin layer of some beer that got passed through, and the top is just this nice fluffy yeast. And this is where I'm going to take my sample from and save it. And it'll last for quite a while in the refrigerator and give me a chance to make some more beer out of it. Saves money. You can see how much my temperature's dropped already in just the last 5 minutes, 10 minutes since I started recording. But one other thing I wanted to mention about these uni tanks that makes them kind of nice is it's a sealed unit. And so during like your secondary fermentation, when the primary is pretty much done and you still got a lot of CO2 and stuff that's in solution, you can seal this off completely and let it build or carbonate naturally a little bit. You just kind of watch your pressure gauge up here, and it does make for a really good carbonation. Really like doing it, but it is really pain in the butt. I don't do it very often anymore. I prefer just to go ahead and rack it into a keg and then force carbonate later. It's just easier to, or more accurately, it's easy to be more accurate to get the carbonation just right than trying to do this. Trying to carbonate after just having a partial carbonation on it. This here does have a carbonation stone. I don't have it in there right now because I just normally don't do it that way. But you can carbonate slowly with this, and it does work really good. But then you've got to try to keg a carbonated liquid, and there again, that's a little bit pain in the butt too, and trying to save or keep all your carbonation because you got to do everything under pressure. So I kind of just prefer doing it the easy way. But yeah, it was just another thing to mention. Alright, if you guys seen my prior video, you've seen that this beer, my starting gravity before fermentation was 1.045, give or take. I don't have my notes with me. And right now my gravity is at 1.007. It'll probably drop maybe another 1 or 2 points. It's a little drier than what I was expecting, but it'll be fine. We'll take it. So I'll let it sit here in the secondary state for a week or two, and then I'll probably go ahead and keg it, and then I like to let it sit in the keg in the refrigerator for another month. After that, the flavors really start to develop. The beer starts getting a lot clearer, and you just get more complex flavors and stuff out of it. I kind of prefer to do that, kind of lager it in the refrigerator so I don't have to sit and run my glycol cooler. It's more than adequate at maintaining those temperatures, but it's just one more thing that I got to pay the power bill on, and it has to sit here and run. So it's just a little bit easier for me to do it that way. So we'll see.